I want to tell you guys something. What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out about crypto. My name is Ben. We're talking balls. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto than this one right here. My name is Ben. We come to you live every single day at exactly 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is Wednesday, December 21st. Man, this month is really moving. I think it's exactly 1 month until we start our book tour, which, by the way, we're going to have a big announcement for you guys. Tomorrow, we are having, through Books A Million, a 24-hour 50% off catching up to crypto book sale. So absolutely huge, 50% off. So I don't know if they're pricing it at $27.99 and then cutting it in half. I'm not sure what the price on Books A Million will be. We'll have more details about that tomorrow, but giving you guys a heads up, if you've been waiting to get the book and you want to get us to look, the pre-orders are out. They're not going to ship. Secret information. Some of them will ship on the 27th. So some will ship a little bit early, but the official published date is January 12th. So all you got to do, buy the book 50% off, put it in your lover's stocking. That's right. Your lover. Your lover will love to catch up to crypto. So you can do that. And yeah, so we'll have more on that tomorrow. So really exciting stuff. Also, I do want to make another announcement. Tomorrow, can you confirm when I'll be in the UK? I think the 27th or the 28th of February. Haven't decided on that exact date. We need to talk to the people putting on that conference, see if we can borrow a room there. So I'll get with that later today. But here's the thing. We are going to be doing a... Allison, please, place your hand on screen. Place your hand on screen. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Allison. Allison's so wonderful. We love Allison. Everybody tell Allison what a great job she does. I'm not sure. I think it's fine. So, if you guys saw my ICP video yesterday, I hope you guys enjoyed. Where's my IC people? We are going to be doing an HBAR video, by the way. I know my HBARbarians, they want their video. We're going to be doing that at the beginning of the year. But big announcement with ICP. We are going to be working with their top NFT artist. His name's Raul, if you guys don't know. And he has put together some stuff. We're going to be using an ICP NFT drop. It's going to be live, I believe, next Tuesday to help fund this lawsuit that we're filing against Sam Bankman-Fried and against FTX, basically to halt the Bahamian government from stealing all of their assets and then keeping it for themselves. That money needs to go back to the people. That money needs to go back to the users. We can't have the Bahamian government stealing these assets that had been hidden from the bankruptcy by FTX, by Sam Bankman-Fried, by his parents. And so you guys are going to have the opportunity to help support that going forward through this ICP NFT launch. It's a 75-25 split, so 25% will go to the artist. The other money will go 100% towards a lawsuit and towards our BitPack Political Action Committee as we are trying to change things in crypto. It is a nonprofit organization that we have. So we're going to be doing that as well. And we're going to be showing more details about that tomorrow. The launch will be, I believe, Tuesday is the launch. So everybody get ready for that. Really exciting. Super thrilled to have the ICP community here as members of the BitSquad because, man, y'all got screwed so much by the New York Times, by Sam Bankman-Fried, by FTX, and just glad you guys have a home here. And we are in full support. So I watched some of that ICP video. Ben seemed drunk and the voiceover was off like an old Kung Fu movie. Well, harati chop to you there, sir. I can assure you I was not drunk. Ren token is going under, people. Sell ASAP. That's from Mike Vollmer. I will say this. What we've uncovered with these Ren dark pools is very, very, very sketchy. I think, isn't Ren rebranding or something like that? Ren's doing something right now, but it is very sketchy what's going on right now. Ben, I've started in crypto late 2020, invested 75K total. Now my portfolio is down to 40K. Can I make it to $1 million in the next run, or is that having too much hope? No, I think you can, well, I think you can make it at least probably to 500K, depending on what your investments are. You could get up to $1 million from 40K. We're trying to turn 25K into $1 million. That's our goal for our portfolio. Can't promise, can't guarantee it's going to, can't promise or guarantee it's going to happen. Can somebody get my inhaler? Is there anybody in here?
No. Really?
Can you text Allison?
Sure.
Sorry, guys, still getting over bronchitis. Yeah, so also, I want to talk about something. What are we covering in Twitter Buzz today, by the way?
Let's look.
Anything about Sam?
Probably not. No.
Okay, I want to pull up this, guys. I want to start the show by talking about two things. First and foremost, I had a dream last night. The Bitcoin went down to $7,000. Probably because Crypto Savvy was in here yesterday. It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. I woke up like, surely that did not happen. Because, guys, if we do go down that far, if Crypto Savvy does turn out to be correct, then that's really dangerous for the future. He really is right. It may be 10 years before we see a new all-time high. And that is a scenario that we are preparing for. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really hope that this market has shown you that we're going to be able to stay, that we've already bottomed, that we're going to start slowly moving up, and we're going to stick to the normal Bitcoin 4-year cycle that we've always stuck to instead of getting something different. He says it's a 10-year cycle, and this is the second, part of the 10-year cycle where we're about to go into a massive bear market. And, it is what it is. Still getting over bronchitis. That's what I keep telling my asthma doctors. Guys, wow, we've only got 3,000 viewers in here.
Yeah.
Can we change the title?
Sure.
Yeah, let's change the title. Guys, hit the like button. Smash the like button. The number one thing you can do to be as a member of the BitSquad to help with crypto adoption, smash that like button. Go ahead, do us a favor. If you're watching on mobile, X out of the live chat, hit the like button, then come back into live chat with a live chat icon. If you're watching on smart TV, bottom left-hand corner of the screen, hit more actions, more options, and then hit react, and then hit like on this video. I know a lot of you guys want to do that. One day, Ben will finally get that mic stand where he wants it. Thank you, Allison. Can we get 2 Allison hands for the day? Look at this. Absolutely amazing. Whew. Okay, now I'm feeling fresh. I've never used an inhaler before. First time I've ever used one in my life. But guys, we got this news here that is really sketchy about Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried seeks bail deal while being extradited to U.S. Lawyers for Sam Bankman-Fried are negotiating with federal prosecutors in New York on a bail arrangement that would enable him to avoid detention, people familiar with the matter told CNN. FTX crypto exchange founder Bankman-Fried, who oversaw his now bankrupt empire from a luxury compound in the Bahamas, is expected to return on Wednesday. They've charged him with orchestrating one of the biggest financial frauds in American history. Once he hits here, he'll have a bail hearing. The timing of the hearing will depend on when he arrives and is processed. Let's see. They said he went to the hospital yesterday, but I don't think that was true. I think he went to the maybe infirmary, or it wasn't the actual hospital that he went to. A lot of people are saying this, and I tweeted about this yesterday. A lot of people are saying, Sam Bankman-Fried's going to get killed in jail. He's going to get Epsteined. He's going to hang himself. I don't think he knows enough to get Epstein. The only people who would have a motivation to do that to him are his own parents. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't rule it out. They didn't even show up to his hearing. But I also don't think it's likely. So there you go. Let's see here. He's facing life in prison. Now, I did a couple tweets yesterday that I do want to point out. TJ, what do you think about my AI picture here?
I think it's all right.
You think it's all right? Yeah. Would you hit? Sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry. That was inappropriate. Sorry, TJ. Let's see here. Let's see where this is. I want to show a couple things here. Number one, here's where you can buy bots. You can buy bots for Twitter poll votes. There you go. 100 votes. It doesn't show how much it is, or does it? Let's see. $1.69 for 100 votes on a poll. There you go. I said it's just the tip of the iceberg. Look at this. Look at these numbers. Should it be against the law for elected officials like Elizabeth Warren to buy followers and engagement on social media platforms? 91.1% of people say yes. To me, this is a clear law that needs to be written in the next 2 years and to get pushed through. And I also tweeted, maybe I'm going to have to go to Washington myself and start making these laws, because it's absolutely ridiculous that we have people like Elizabeth Warren. She's losing followers every day. Why? Because they're cleaning out bots. that's a lot of her followers are bots. There's no question in my mind that she bought engagement and bought followers and bought bots at points in the past in her Twitter history. Go look at Social Blade. It becomes very clear when you understand how to look through this type of stuff. But she's not the only one. I mean, obviously, we hate Elizabeth Warren. She sucks as a person. She sucks as a politician. She sucks as someone with a voice who thinks she should be heard in crypto. So that's overall across the board, right? But regardless of that, she's not the only one involved in this. Politicians have been using this stuff for a long time, and it's time to put an end to it. So I did want to tweet about that. Let's see. He had a trial this morning. I think that trial is over now. I think he is coming right now. Let's see. I keep saying this narrative that SBF is going to kill himself. You're way overestimating what he knows. The Bahamian government is who he can do the most damage to, and they don't have the power to make this happen once he's in the U.S. And they also, in addition to this, the Bahamian government is the only people with the motivation, in my opinion, to actually, make him unalive himself or whatever the case may be. And they didn't do it. So he's on the way back to the United States, I believe, right now as we speak. So what are your thoughts on Charles Hoskinson acting like a baby with the whole XRP community from an ADA and XRP holder? That's from Secretary Tips, $5. Look, it's a great question. It really is a great question. I think at the end of the day, I think that the XRP community has been too hard on Charles. I think Charles has not done himself any favors by some of the things that he has said against the XRP community. But at the end of the day, look, Charles got to focus on what Charles got to focus on. And he doesn't have a responsibility or accountability to the XRP community. So if this is the path that he wants to go and he wants to isolate himself into the Cardano community, then he has the ability to do that and he has the right to do that. And I think the XRP people should respect that, knowing that anything you do to try to pull him back in, it's only going to backfire on you. It's only going to make it worse. If the XRP community really did care about Charles and want him to maybe come more to their side, then they would be nicer to him. And guys, we know the fringes of the XRP army is very militant, if you will. So here's what I would say. Just back off. Let's let this thing between Charles and XRP, let's let it, just kind of die for now. And then down the road, maybe we can have some more conversations about it. I know when I asked him about XRP, he answered my questions and didn't have a problem with that. At this point, I wouldn't ask him any questions about XRP because he's made his viewpoint very clear. So that is my thoughts on that. There is a lot going on with Cardano. We've got that Coinbase, the Coinbase report that the Cardano wasn't included in. We've got a lot of drama going on between David Schwartz and Vitalik Buterin, Brad Garlinghausen, Gary Gensler, a lot more. We're going to have a video for you on one of those tonight. So, all right, moving right on here. Don't forget, you can check out all of our cool merch on hitmerch.com. You want a ho-ho hodl? There's a ho-ho hodl right there. Ho-ho hodl. You guys can buy that shirt, hitmerch.com. And don't forget to check out the book, Catching Up to Crypto. You can get it on Barnes & Noble or Amazon. But like I said, remember, 50% off tomorrow on Books A Million. We will have some links for you guys tomorrow. We'll post it on the show, post it on Instagram, post it on Twitter, post it on TikTok as well. Okay, guys, right now, the price of Bitcoin is coming in. I mean, it's really disrespectful to even call this down. It's down 0.01%. Right now, 22,099 cryptos. Once again, we were told that this number was going to go to 1 or 200 over this bear market. I told you that was BS. You guys can see it's true. It keeps going up. 532 exchanges, 810 billion in market cap. Wow, look at that volume. 27 billion in volume. Actually, our volume yesterday wasn't that bad compared to that. So that's pretty good, at least. Bitcoin dominance now at the 40% level. This is where it keeps getting rejected and keeps getting put down. Ethereum exactly where we left it yesterday at 18.3%. Gas, 8.5 Paraguays will send you any transaction. $16,821 for Bitcoin. Ethereum right where we left it yesterday, basically, and Bitcoin. 12.13. Let's look at the big movers of the day. Oh, what a yawn. What am I supposed to do to that? Am I supposed to breathe in, they said? Is that I need more oxygen to my brain? I was talking a lot right there. Helium up 32%? What is that from?
I don't know.
Wow. Big move. Toncoin, they're doing a big giveaway somewhere I saw. Maybe it's Bybit, not sure. Ethereum Classic, Decred, yeah. Still a lot of in the 1 to 4% gainers club. Nothing down tremendously today. Chain with another bad day today, down 5.33%. Filecoin down 5%. God, look at these week numbers. XDC up 20% for the week. That's in our portfolio. Wow. 41.69%. Neutrino stablecoin, 34.8%. Filecoin, 33%. Trust token down 32%. There's certainly of the backlash against Binance. And I would say this, look, guys, I'm not telling you guys what to buy. You guys know the coins that we like. What I will tell you is after Trust Wallet had that tremendous run up, it has pulled back quite a bit, 32%. If you were looking for an entry into Trust Wallet, I would not think this is a bad spot. So we may be actually adding this to our portfolio this week. We'll have to see what happens. Maybe we will be. But does Ben lock his legs when he's standing at the desk? Ben never sits still at all. So no, there are no legs locked here. Sandbox down 23%. Wow. A lot of stuff getting absolutely killed out there right now. So, wow. Okay. Frank, you want to come on up? Wait.
Frank's not in here.
Why are we not doing Frank today?
I have no idea.
Where is Frank? Frank's gone for the rest of the week?
He's on vacation.
Wow. Well, Frank, we'll miss you. I didn't know. So this means it's up to me to do charts now.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Somebody, I will say, there was a comment in the chat the other day when Frank was on that they said they miss your crooked lines and the way we used to do TA back in the day is definitely not like the way most people do TA.
Look, guys, I'm not a TA expert. I'm just not. I mean, those are facts. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend what you're not gonna pretend. We'll give you the best that we can here. I wish I was a little more prepared, guys. We were on a really tight ship here. Well, good Frank. Well, you guys know what, actually? Well, I'll tell you a story about Frank. Frank, is a lot of you guys know, used to be our vlogger here. He used to follow me around everywhere, video what I do. Aaron does that now for the most part.
But he did come out of the BitSquad community originally.
He did come out of the BitSquad community originally. We had another vlogger. We think we need a second vlogger. And he sent us an email like 10 minutes after we had that conversation. Yep. We were like, come on down from New York. Come on down. We'll fly you down and we'll do an interview with you. And so Frank came down. This would have been, like about 2 years ago, somewhere thereabouts. And then last year, Frank went home for Christmas and he came back and we were having a conversation about wanting to have an in-house TA guy. And I was like, yeah, we really need to have like somebody doing TA, Frank. What do you think? He said, well, I don't know. I said, well, you trade, don't you? What do you do? He said, yeah, like I won 12 out of 13 trades while I was home for Christmas. Yeah. I said, what?
12 out of 13?
You did what?
Yeah.
Show me those numbers. So he started showing it to me. I said, Frank, would you like to do a TA channel? He said, I would love that. Yeah. So that's what happened. That's how Frank got the gig as Frankie Candles, and he does a phenomenal job. And I will point out to you guys, the vast majority of you guys love Frank, and certainly Frank is an incredible human being, not just as a person that does TA. But do you remember how rough it was the first 2 weeks Frank was on the show? People hated Frank the first 2 weeks. Could not stand it. Every other word was he was nervous, didn't really know what he was doing. But look at the beautiful butterfly that Frank has turned into.
Absolutely.
Frankie Candles, man, he is the man, the myth, the legend.
And shout out to the whole Candle Mafia. It's
Absolutely.
a great community, a lot of really good traders, in his Discord. They all help each other out, giving each other calls and, helping each other, with a lot of different strategies and setups. So, big shout out to Frank, and I got to mention Tony D as well, and
Tony,
whole Candle Mafia.
Tony Bagels.
Yeah, that's right. Tony Bagels.
So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here. We'll see what we got going on here. We'll look at Bitcoin. You guys know he likes to look at those 4-hour charts. I like to look at the daily charts here. We'll see what's going on with the daily. We had a nice pump yesterday, really, from where we hit some lows.
I mean, just on a really loose level, it's nice to see since that 15.5 drop. I mean, on the daily, before you spread it out too much, it was pretty easy to see where you had it, the higher lows being made and higher highs. It's starting to move up into the right on at least the longer time frames since that 15.5 crash. I mean, you can see it right
and I'll tell you guys, I mean, obviously, you guys know, like I've really reiterated here a million times, I don't live and die by charts, okay? But what I can say about this is that looking at this chart right here, I'm very confident we've hit the bottom. I'm not 100%, okay? I'm not 100%. For me to sit here and say that I'm 100% on anything at this point when it comes to this market would be asinine. Okay. I told you guys $10,000 to $14,000. That was our target. That's where we thought we were going to hit. We gave you the range in between November 28th and December 15th. That was when we were looking at the bottom. I think if you actually look at this, it is November 21st. So we missed it by a week. And you remember we missed the Bitcoin all-time high by a week too last time. Or when it hit new all-time highs in 2020, end of 2020, we missed that by 7 days as well. We missed this by 7 days. We nailed the top of the market. We just didn't, we were too dumb to realize it. Guys, the 4-year cycle charts, they work. These patterns, they work. Everybody, I know Luke Martin, Coin Capital Venture, or whatever his name is, he had a tweet the other day that I retweeted where he said, you know, every 4 years we hear this. It's different this time. And it just keeps being the same. When you look across the macro environment, for you to think that this is the bottom, that we bottomed here around 15.4, it looks like, it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense because everybody's saying doom and gloom. The market is over. The Fed pivot is going to send Bitcoin hurling down. Everything is going to drop tremendously. The stock market is just now getting to where it's going to have much more massive drops. Guys, have you seen the stock market? Have you seen how bad it is? Have you seen Tesla? Tesla's down, what, 75%?
Something dramatic, yeah.
I mean, let's pull up the Tesla chart, actually, real quick. Let's do that. Let's go to stocks, and let's pull up Tesla, TSLA. I know y'all are shocked. I know what Tesla is as a stock. It's continuing to drop. Fair enough. Now, keep in mind, it's continuing to drop, but what is Bitcoin doing? Is Bitcoin continuing to drop? It is not. You got to go back here to, and it'll probably go down to maybe here, but right now it's sitting at $136. At the peak, it was at 414. So what is that math there? Do I have a phone here? Let me do this math for you real quick. Let's see. I think that would be, what is the peak? 414 divided by 136. Nope. It's the other way. 136 divided by 414. That is a 68% drop. 68% drop for Tesla. Okay. How much lower can it really go? Do you see, if we go back and we look at the NASDAQ, I tell you what would be really interesting. Let's go look at the NASDAQ in general, and let's see how much it fell during the 2008 financial crisis. That's what I want to see. Let's go to the weekly chart. Okay. I want to know how much this fell. So this would have been, look at these little blips. That's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Looking back at this. Let's see what the average, well, first of all, let's look at what NASDAQ dropped now. Let's see what that is. Let's go to our little handy dandy measuring stick. That's about the top. It fell at the peak down 35%. Okay, 35% is where it fell from basically 2021 to now. Did you know it started going back up that much?
I don't really follow the NASDAQ much, so no.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would have been during May. That would have been right before all of our crypto collapses. But if you go back here and you look at this here, and I don't know, maybe somebody would tell us, maybe the SPY would be a better judge of this. But if you go back to 2008 and you look at that collapse, you're looking at from the top to the bottom. Wow, that's a 70%. That's a lot more than what we just faced, actually. So that would be like twice as bad. But are we facing something as bad as the 2008 financial crisis here, you think?
Could be. I mean, it just depends, you know.
Yeah. And if you look, let's measure it from here. I mean, in the short term, 60%. So let's check. Let's see what the SPY is. Let's look at that. SPY. Oh, look, Frank's already got all kinds of stuff drawn here. Who knows what this stuff means? So let's go back to the 2008. This is important stuff, guys, because this will help us really figure out what we could be looking at here. 2008 SPY 60% drop previously. See what it is today. 60%. 30%.
Now, what's that last level he's got down there?
Last level?
This that one? Last line. Draw it to that last line.
Oh, this line? Yeah. Okay. He probably has all that mapped out. Frank's good like that. It's probably 70%. That's only 40%.
40%. Interesting. He's just doing that based on the volume. That's that high volume node right there.
Yeah, I see it. So that would put it down much further. So I don't know what we're going to see on. I don't know what we're going to see as far as the stocks go.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you think we'll finally see a separation of Bitcoin and stocks? Like if stocks continue to go down, and we could see crypto start to hold at least? Or?
Well, it's not finally. We see it every 4 years. We see the difference.
Yeah, but I mean, this would be a very dramatic. Like if the SPY was to go down and continue to drop, say another.
Well,
30%.
but I mean, if you go back to 2018, the market was going up, right? The stock market was going up in 2018. Right, the stock market.
I'm just saying it'd be the inverse. Now, crypto being holding or going up while the stock market going down.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Go back up a little bit to that super chat. I want to touch that. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think Bitcoin and its cycles are going to stand the test of time. Now, how long will that go? Another 2 cycles, another 3 cycles? I don't know. At least one more cycle for sure. So I had a talk with Ray from the gym yesterday. And I told him, I said, this is so great for you. This is so great for someone that got into crypto because they met me during the bull run. Mm-hmm. Like there was a question of, would we get another bull run? And now it's like, we've gone back in time. We've gone back in time to where you're now early again. You weren't early. Now you're early again. And for those people that really have bought into it and really believe, what an opportunity you've been given here. It's absolutely phenomenal. Thoughts on Ukraine president and Sam flying in today? Sam flying in today, if he gets bail, it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Elizabeth Holmes got bail for, I think, 2 or 3 years. Now she's doing 11 years. We might see something, something different. But when it comes to the president, what's going on with the Ukrainian president?
I don't know.
Well, let's look it up. He's the man of the year, right?
Is he?
He was the Time Man of the Year. Yeah. Let's see, news. Biden and Zelensky planning to meet in Washington for Ukrainian president's first foreign trip since war began. I know Mitch McConnell was talking about going to war. Can I just be very clear on this? We are not, this may age terribly. This might age terribly. We're not going to see nuclear war. And we're not going to see war between the United States and Russia. We're not going to see it. We're not going to see it. Let me tell you what would happen before we saw nuclear war. They would kill Putin from the inside. They would kill Putin for the inside before someone would carry out sending a nuclear strike somewhere else in Europe or, beyond. It's just not going to happen, guys. Putin lives in such an echo chamber that all the people that are very close to him will agree with everything he says. But everyone in Russia understands what would happen if they released nuclear war. They would all be dead. And they know that. So we would have an internal coup before we will have nuclear war. I believe that 100%. I don't think anybody, I don't understand how people could really even disagree with that. To say that like you're just going to have people pressing buttons, firing off, nuclear warheads. If you see what happened with the United States where we dropped our nuclear bombs over Japan, I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of people that would wish to go back and undo that. I mean, at the time, we didn't feel, I wasn't alive then, but, they didn't feel like they had much of a choice. But now realizing the repercussions of these kinds of weapons, I just don't think we're going to see it. We're in a constant nuclear weapons in a lot of ways ensure the Earth's survival because everybody knows if you fire one off, it's over and we're all dead. So that's what I think we're going to see. So what happens if Russia releases a nuke on empty soil in Alaska? Let me tell you, if Russia wants to be completely obliterated off the face of the earth, they would fire a missile to Alaska. And they all know that. So there we go. Those are my thoughts on that. Quick market stories here. Bitcoin price fails to retake 17K with market not prepared for dip. How are they not prepared for the dip? Fellow trader and analyst Alizi agreed on the potential for a retest, I guess. 117.5 hits, while Crypto Tony also eyed that zone as a line in the sand. Short squeeze setup, blah, 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 blah. Dollar stable after the Japan shakeup. There you go. Then we got also this story. Bitcoin's correlation with other risk assets to watch for in 2023. According to the latest weekly report from Arcane Research, signals from the Federal Reserve could be something to pay attention to in 2023 as well. Two assets. What's that?
I said, you think?
Yeah, I know, right? 2 assets are said to be correlated. We know what correlation means. If you don't know what correlation means, then I'm sorry, you have not been paying attention. As the above graph displays, all the risk assets observed arise in the buildup to and after the CPI release. Maybe if I'm about to yawn, I can do the inhaler. We'll see what happens. However, as the FOMC meeting took place, I started to shift against the price of these assets. Blah, 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 blah. From the graph, blah, 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 blah. Bitcoin price. There we go. Nothing really super significant there. Real quick before we get into our Twitter Buzz section, this segment is brought to you by CoinLedger. Just a reminder that folks in the U.S. have until the end of the calendar year of 2022 to harvest their capital losses in crypto for their taxes. And one neat way to do this is to use CoinLedger's tax harvesting feature. This is on CoinLedger.com. We talked about this before. What is tax loss harvesting? Many in the crypto space are familiar with it. Basically, what this means is when you made a bunch of money in crypto one year and then the next year you have some losses, you can actually harvest those losses to save overall on your taxes. So in reality, the amount of money you lost in crypto could actually help you and be beneficial. You guys go here. Here's another guide here, cryptocurrency tax loss harvesting, how to save on your tax bill. We'll put a CoinLedger link in the chat here. So if you guys want to go check out CoinLedger, you can do that. Obviously, they do more stuff than just tax loss harvesting, I believe.
Yeah, I heard they actually even made a tool for NFT tax loss harvesting too. So if you've got some NFT losses, which I know if you trade a lot of NFTs, you do, that might be a way to make up some of that money.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So you guys can check it out, coinledger.io. All right, let's move on to Twitter Buzz here. Twitter Buzz. Zelensky will address U.S. Congress on Wednesday evening. This is from Yulia Mendel. Prior to this address, Zelensky will meet with President Joe Biden, and the two will convene a White House news conference. Biden is expected to announce he's sending nearly $2 billion in additional security assistance.
Jeez.
Yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think
that must have been what they were referring to, obviously. I mean, I think it's a bit of a joke how much money we've sent already, and continuing to send more. It just seems like this is a great excuse to send a lot of money over there and mix it all up, and who knows where it all ends up. That's what I think. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know one thing. I know there's a ton of money laundering going on with those political contributions. Exactly. In Ukraine. I also know quite a bit more about this than I can even say right now, because there is some stuff to where Sam is going to get additional charges, serious charges, not having to do with just the collapse of FTX. Congress has been investigating, or some of the committees on Congress have actually been investigating Sam since March of this year, way before the collapse, before Terra Luna, because there was a lot of wrongdoing done in between FTX and the Kuna exchange, which was the only Bitcoin exchange in Ukraine that's legal for people to use. So they said $2 billion. It was supposed to be $45 million. So they basically was at 25x almost, or 22x, whatever it is, the amount they were going to send. Guys, this is absolutely insane. It's shady. It's very sketchy. And especially if you go back to, all of the so-called Biden-Ukraine connections before he even was elected. Yeah, exactly. So you really start wondering here what's happening. Just in, cryptocurrencies will cause the next financial crisis if they're not banned. Indian central bank governor. Is there a bigger meme than India at this point when it comes to crypto? One day they're talking about announcing a CBDC and announcing digital currencies are accepted, and the next day they're wanting to ban it again. It's very similar to what went on with, the China ban, banning crypto today, not banning it the next day, banning crypto mining today, sending your miners to other countries to send your revenue back to China. Guys, don't be fooled by that China Bitcoin mining ban. They still have just as much hash rate. Now it's just a little more hidden. They decentralize their mining operations, so to speak. So very, very interesting there. If you're going to claim that the Federal Reserve is destroying your company, then you should probably go ahead and admit that it built it too. Well, yeah, borrowing all that cheap money for so long was how a lot of these companies were built. And now they're mad because the Fed is pulling back those rates. You can't borrow money forever.
It's going to always come back on you. So I think there's definitely, something to be said about that. And I don't know, like there are some people who believe that now that we don't have cheap money to borrow, the economy is going in the gutter. And I just don't know if that's true for sure. I think if we do see Bitcoin go down tremendously from here, I think it will be something because of the macro. But guys, I just really want to caution you against that. The macro, Ben, please use your inhaler correctly. How you are using it is incorrect and not helpful for your airways. I will see if I can find a link for you to watch. Okay. I've never used one before, so I don't know. The macro did not affect Bitcoin at all. Okay. We told you all year Bitcoin was going to hit a bottom after the midterm elections. What happened? Hit a bottom after the midterm elections. With as bad as the macro environment was, okay, keep this in mind. With as bad as it was, Bitcoin to this point is still not even dropped to its average losses during a bear market. Okay. So Bitcoin has been resilient and Bitcoin has been going on its own ticker here for a long time. And now to believe the macro is going to affect it, I just think Bitcoin's going to keep doing what Bitcoin's always done. And that's just the way that I lean. And I can be wrong. I don't want anybody to base all your investments off of those questions or off of those statements of my confidence level. But I believe that we are going to see Bitcoin continue to move. I think we are going to see Bitcoin go up at the end of next year. And it's going to be, I tell you what, I can't wait until January 1st where we can start saying having next year.
Yeah, it's going to feel great.
Feels so great. So
yeah, it's because it still is a little bit, 2024 feels a little far away when you realize we're still in 2022.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, guys. Are fears of Bitcoin miners selling pressure overblown? This expert thinks so. How about that? Who is this expert?
I don't know, but we have some more bankruptcies today. So that's
this is Jared Mellerud. Are we going to get into that today?
I think so. It might be right after this.
No, it's not on here. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, there it is. Okay. Notably, fears of a further sell-off occasioned by Bitcoin miners dumping to avoid losing their hard-earned rewards and support their operations have been rising. However, according to Jared Mellerud, a Bitcoin mining expert and consultant, claims about miners dumping and sparking a major Bitcoin sell-off are puffed up. Coco Loco, this is our peace offering. Sorry we went too hard yesterday with our coin. Keep killing it, brother. We have nothing but respect for you and look up to you in this industry. Well, thank you. I respect that. Appreciate that. Yeah, we just can't do shilling in the chat, guys. Yeah. Sorry.
It's a weird, that's a top indicator for sure when you get a bunch of shilling in the chat, which made me think of that when they were doing that the other day. And it's weird to think about it being at the bottom too. Yeah. They're front running it a little bit.
Yeah, I know Carl.
Guys, you're a year and a half early.
Carl launched that coin, or he's part of that of the Medieval Empires game. Mm-hmm. Now look, the game's supposed to be pretty good. The guy who I guess the main voice actor, he's a gigantic actor over in Turkey. So I'm not going to comment about my thoughts on whether it's going to go up or down. I don't know, but it did like a 3x, and that's like extremely good in a bear market. 3x in the bull market, all those pre-sales, they all went up like 25x. And so it just shows you that the air in the room is not very thick when it comes to coins moving. There are a lot of people involved in that, and very interesting. Ben, are you doing a book signing in Canada? Not yet. We may, depending on how the book launch goes, and depending on how the book sells. Okay, we may do an additional 2 weeks later in the year. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of other cities I would like to go to. That are not on the list. But if you guys want to know who is on the list, you guys can go to bitboycrypto.com. Here, let me put it in here. bitboycrypto.com, and then go here to book. You got to have the pre-order to come to the meetups here. These are going to be much smaller meetups. They're going to be much more intimate than we usually do. These are for our biggest fans that buy the book. So if you go down here to the bottom, you'll see we need to get these start getting these locations down. I know Jen's got some of these booked already. We need to make sure we're fixing that. We finally did fix Austin, Texas there. And we did spell Phoenix correctly. But this is the list of the cities that we'll be going to. We do have, I got to nail down the date for this later today, hopefully, or maybe tomorrow. So there you go. Ben, Cowboys or Eagles? Hard to go against the Eagles right now. They look pretty good. Jalen Hurts going to need to be Hurts probably for them to lose, which he is a little Hurts right now. Okay, there we go. He emphasized that the only worst case scenario miners impacting the spot market was if they dump their entire holdings. And guys, I think what he's saying here is really interesting because if we look at tax loss harvesting that we were just looking at a little bit ago, most people have already done that for the year, correct? Is it 21st?
I mean, yes and no. It depends. I mean, there's people that do that stuff on like the last day. I mean, we have a whole week, a whole business week left before the end of the year. There's people that do that a lot right at the end of the year. Like days before sometimes.
Yeah, well, you'd want to do it close to the bottom, right? It would have been better to do it 3 weeks ago.
Well, of course.
Right now.
You get the most right at the bottom. But
is Thorchain and Flow a good hold? I've never been that big on Flow because of their dilution, their diluted market cap.
Yeah.
Thorchain, we like Thorchain. It's had a lot of hacks. It's pulled through a lot of it.
I kind of have an interesting answer on this one. I think they're good projects, not necessarily good holds in a bear market.
There you go.
Because there is, a lot of these alts can still get hammered over this next year pretty hard. Like even in a sideways to somewhat positive environment for Bitcoin, a lot of these alts can still get crushed if dominance, even if it was to climb to say 50%, like not even including 75. So strong projects, but you can still get wrecked. Yeah. I'd wait till you get a confirmed uptrend and re-enter.
Mt. Gox refunds update. Oh, what did that say? Creditor deadline details for registering a repayment method. Ben, why are you talking about this? I think you mean, why are you not talking about this? Guys, I got my Mt. Gox email this morning. I get Mt. Gox emails. I'm involved in that. I have money coming, which I'm don't even care about. It's probably $1,000. It's not worth my time for how much work it is to register all these accounts and do all this stuff. Guys, I've been getting these emails for years saying it's about to happen. That's why I don't pay attention to them. Who cares? It's going to be a long time for people to get their money back on Mt. Gox still, probably. And when it happens, nobody's going to know it's going to happen. Okay? It's going to happen. All of a sudden, one day, people are going to start getting paid back, and it is what it is. Don't pay any attention to any timelines that Mt. Gox gives you. Guys, February 2014. It's going to be January 2023 next month. Okay? 9 years. Don't pay any attention to your Mt. Gox emails for now, unless you have a ton of money wrapped up in it. So there you go. All right, I agree with what he's saying here. I don't think we're going to see a major move there. First mover, America is one of the largest Bitcoin miners, goes bankrupt. Now, this is interesting for a couple reasons. Core Scientific, one of the largest Bitcoin miners by computing power, has filed for bankruptcy. The company filed for Chapter 11 at Southern District of Texas Bankruptcy Court. The miner's estimated liabilities are from $1 billion to $10 billion. According to the filing, it has around 1,000 to 5,000 creditors, with the largest unsecured claim coming from investment bank B. Riley. The bankruptcy of Core Scientific, which accounts for about 10% of computing power on the Bitcoin network, operates 143,000 mining rigs, and hosting another 100,000 is the biggest one yet, and is set to send shockwaves in an already crumbling industry. A crumbling industry. So what I'll say about this that's interesting is, I believe that this is who Celsius was using for their mining operation.
I believe, it sounds right, Core Scientific.
I believe it was. I mean, I was talking to, let me just cover this story real quick and I'll get back to that. Bitcoin miner Greenridge signed $74 million debt restructuring agreement with NYDIG or NYDIG. So NYDIG obviously is a fintech firm. It's an institution, a hedge fund, I believe it is technically. So there you go. They're signing into this. Now let's move back to Celsius because I really want to talk about this. Guys, I'm really torn on what to do about Celsius right now. And the reason is we just keep finding evidence that's conflicting when it comes to Celsius. One day, I think Alex Mashinsky's pretty much innocent. And then the next day, I think he's bad as SBF. And the next day, it seems like he's absolved. And, there's this going on. I want to know from you guys, what in your opinion is the best route to go? Do you guys care what happened with the inner workings of Celsius that led it to insolvency? Do you care? Or do you care more going forward about how this affects the Celsius community? I'd love for you guys to drop your comments down here so we can take a look at that and see, because I just don't know what. We've got a video coming out soon where we're going to crush Voyager because we know for sure Voyager was doing bad stuff. We've got tons of evidence. We've talked to tons of employees there. We've got terrible stuff on Voyager, which Binance is buying them. So great. all this stuff we're saying is just historical to you at this point. It happened, okay? But with Celsius, it's an ever-evolving situation because they do have this mining operation going. What I'm being told is that this mining operation actually looks very promising for the future of Celsius, even though in the short term, they lost $200 to $300 million on it. Over time, that's eventually going to turn to be profitable potentially, and this could actually have an effect on the Celsius holder, and this could be a way you could get some of your funds back. But like, do y'all care about how it happened, or do you care more about where we're going from here and what the potential is? I want to see what those comments are. Crypto Stevo says, care more going forward. Yes, my money is stuck. You can scroll down there. Oh, you want me to do that super chat?
I didn't know if you wanted me to.
Yeah, go back up. I'll do super chat real quick, and then we'll go there. Mining stocks down 95%. Mara, Riot, BTBT. That's Marathon. What are your thoughts on buying GBTC at a discount? I can't afford a full Bitcoin. Think of that option. Well, if you buy a GBTC Bitcoin, you don't own a Bitcoin.
Right.
You still don't own a Bitcoin.
You own shares in a trust.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of evidence on how this money flowed from all these collapses. All this Bitcoin that got over leveraged and liquidated, it ended up at Grayscale. That's the ultimate, because once it went to Grayscale, it's like a wastebasket. Once it goes in, it doesn't come out unless the trust gets dissolved. But you don't own a Bitcoin. So, all right, go back up. Let's go through some of these comments here. Keep going up. Go all the way back up to where we were and then down. Okay. All right. Let's see. Money is stuck. Let's see. Let's rebuild the community. Move forward. Going forward. Celsius deep dive. Moving forward. Can't fix the problem. You don't know how it happened. Okay. Well, I mean, I would say on that, don't put your money on third-party exchanges going forward and you'll be fine. Can't happen again. Why are we light on Alex when blah, 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 blah. You have to know the cause. Celsius doesn't interest you at all. Move forward. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll do a mix of both, but it looks like most people want to move forward. Some people want both. Some people are saying both. It's a very, man, it is a very hard thing to unwind. What happened at Celsius is way more complicated than what happened at FTX. What happened with Celsius is way more complicated than what happened at FTX. So I'll say it like that. We want to make sure we got all the answers before we actually move in and get on some of that stuff. All right, we got to fly through the rest of this. U.S. Senate advances $1.66 trillion government funding bill. $1.66 trillion government spending bill drew overwhelming bipartisan support. Last year, we got the $3 billion bill. This year, we get the $1 trillion. This year, we get the $1.66 trillion bill.
It's crazy how much you hear trillions now. Like you never, I mean, obviously it just comes with the inflated money supply, but trillion, everything's $1 trillion now, I feel like, which is just insane.
Yep. Senate and House leaders aim to pass the bill. I'm not going to talk about Gala. I talked about Gala games yesterday. If you want to go check out what we said yesterday.
Same question.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
Including
and to be fair, you're not a big blockchain gaming fan.
No, that's not true.
Well, what do you like in blockchain gaming?
Well, I just don't know if it's out yet. I love blockchain gaming. I think it's going to be great. I haven't seen it. The thing yet that I think is going to be. Sandbox.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you're not
Sandbox. Love Sandbox.
Gotcha.
I think Sand's going to be the one. I've said that forever. I think everything else pales in comparison. So we do like the other metaverse. I can never remember the name of it. God, what's the freaking name of it?
Alluvium?
No. It's we have land there. I can't remember what it's called. It's on Mars. It's a metaverse on Mars. Somebody else say it in there. We'll remember what it is. The name just escaped me for some reason. Everdome. There we go. Everdome. Yeah, we like Everdome. We think Everdome's going to be pretty good to use on Unreal Engine. But overall, blockchain gaming, guys, it just hasn't taken off. Mana, that's a joke, right? Decentraland's a joke. So there you go. They're putting all this money into this, and then they're also giving $2 billion to Ukraine. There we go. Alaska adds virtual currency to its regulatory regime.
I saw that.
From January 1st, 2023, the term virtual currency will take its place in the money transmissions regulations of Alaska. Will oblige it. Now, do you think it's coincidence I was just in Alaska and now they're going to be accepting crypto?
Mm-hmm.
My wife sent me a video of a moose running through snow. Y'all look that video up. It's insane. Alaska remains one of the 9 states that are still offering 0% capital tax gains. There you go. So cool. Did you know that people in Alaska get about $4,000 a year where they split the oil profits? Did you know that from oil pipelines?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I learned that while I was up there. Also, having barbecue moose tonight.
Nice.
At the house. According to a company presentation filed on December 20th, more than 125 parties have been in contact since September. This is for Celsius, amassing 30 potential bidders for its assets. Let's see here. Wow, 30 bidders. Non-disclosure agreements, a legal contract used to protect sensitive information about a company or the bidding terms that is typically required during negotiations. The latest presentation notes that as of November 25th, the company held crypto valued at approximately $2.6 billion. Celsius is still $1.2 billion short of being able to pay off all debts. Now, I talked to someone that said that that number is actually much smaller than that because the price of Bitcoin has gone down. It's around 700 million instead of 1.2 billion, but whatever. Related news, the bankruptcy judge granted a motion filed by Celsius on September 1st. I think a good video for us to do would be one where we talk about what the options are here going forward. So, because to my knowledge, for thoughts on optimism, good hold. I do like optimism. I do think it's a good hold. Mm-hmm. I'm very optimistic on it. When it comes to Celsius reorg plans, I think they've got to get some kind of approval from regulators to do that. And I think that's where they might run into some issues. But it's just, there's, guys, I'm telling you, I know I told you guys when we got off of FTX, we're going to start on Celsius. You guys just have to understand how big of an undertaking it is to get in the weeds in the Celsius stuff. It is so insane. It's so massive. There's so much to it. There's so much money on the line that it's a hard thing to undertake. Just understanding the reorg and understanding the potential acquisitions and the bidding process, that's hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of research by itself. Not even to count trying to go counteract or retroactive and look at what happened and how it led there. What I'm being told now is that regardless of the unpegging of Terra, Celsius was going to end up bankrupt anyways. There were a lot of bad business decisions that were made in the short term, including buying all those miners. They spent $500 million on the miners.
Jeez.
Think about that. You put that $500 million back into the supply at the time, and that eats up a lot of that insolvency hole. But overall, we think in the future, this could be a way people get paid back, but it's a lot. Grayscale may liquidate 600,000 Bitcoin holdings following SEC opposition to FTX. Grayscale, what's that?
ETF.
Yeah, the ETF. Grayscale Investments may offer to buy up to 20% of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust shares. It's a move the company hopes will close the gap between GBTC share price and company's underlying Bitcoin holdings. Hey, look, we got a gap. We love a gap. Company cannot return GBTC shareholder funds. Will continue to offer the tender until it's converted to an ETF. Once it goes to an ETF, the trust is dissolved, then the Bitcoin can move. Bitcoin can't move at all right now. In the event we're unsuccessful in pursuing options for returning a portion of the capital to shareholders, we do not currently intend to dissolve GBTC, but would instead continue to operate GBTC with an ongoing redemption program until we are successful in converting it to a spot Bitcoin ETF.
Basically, they're trying to get some money out of it for Digital Currency Group to solve all its liquidity issues. Because
they've got a lot of issues.
DCG is the biggest holder, obviously, in Grayscale.
Absolutely. Lawsuit seems to be a long, drawn-out battle. Do you remember when they said they were going to sue the SEC?
I think they are. It's still ongoing.
Yeah, I know. Cool. Good job, guys. You're going to beat the SEC. You're going to get your ETF one day. All right, go in the Barry Silbert Fox or rabbit trail. That might be another interesting one. Genesis DCG creditors propose plan to resolve liquidity issues. These guys say, are these guys bad for crypto? Put a poll up. Let's see what people think. Are the Winklevoss brothers bad for crypto? Should we get rid of them out of crypto? Jim Cramer, Kevin O'Leary, these are people we're getting rid of. Elizabeth Warren, you got to go. Gary Gensler, you got to go. A lot of these people have to go. Are the Winklevoss twins good for crypto? A creditor committee that includes crypto exchange Gemini has presented a plan to Genesis and Digital Currency Group to provide a plan for recovery of assets. Earlier this week, reports value the total amount owed to Gemini at $900 million, from a total of $1.8 billion owed to the creditors group. So it'd be very interesting in these poll results. All right, we've already talked about this. Breaking one of the largest P2P crypto exchanges removes Ethereum due to integrity. Paxful. Ray Youssef, CEO and co-founder of Paxful, has put a plan to remove Ethereum from the exchange. The exchange is one of the largest peer-to-peer trading crypto platforms in the world. Says a big responsibility to his 11.6 million customers. We finally kicked Ethereum off the marketplace to make humans safer. What is this guy saying?
I'm sure it's about the the compliance, OFAC.
No, he's just saying it's about Bitcoin. What is on Paxful total?
Do we know? I would assume it was just Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, so you got a bunch of Bitcoin maximalists running around talking about blah, 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 blah. Let's go to Paxful. Paxful. Nope. Let's go to markets. Where do we go to markets at? Exchanges. Let's go to Paxful. Not even on here.
Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't be. Yeah,
it's not an exchange. It's a place to buy, like Changelly or something.
Yeah, it'd be peer to peer. So it's probably more.
Peer-to-peer.
It's probably more like a local Bitcoins kind of thing.
Well, there you go. Great job, Paxful. Actually, a terrible job. I'm surprised we don't have the Vitalik versus David Schwartz story on here. Vitalik said XRP is totally centralized. How do you feel about osmosis long term if DeFi will win over sex? Osmosis, that is the Cosmos exchange, I believe, right?
I believe, yeah. Good. I believe that's it. Yeah.
I think it is. Chainlink and Arbitrum partnership that could impact crypto market. Wow. Chainlink with a partnership. Cool. Next story. Polygon partners with Neobank High and MasterCard for NFT debit card. So we talked about yesterday. It's so funny, right? Like the thing that these people do for, wait, they said poll wording is wrong.
Oh, I just should have said good. Yes is good. No, I didn't rename yes and no.
Just redo it. Yeah, redo it. Okay. You know, what some of these people will do for engagement on the internet is really funny to me. Some no-name person put up some post yesterday about Visa. You know, it's like, oh, how ironic it could be that Visa will actually be the company to usher in crypto adoption. You got like 3,000 likes on it. So stupid, so low IQ, right? TJ, how many Visa getting involved in crypto stories have we covered over the last 2 years?
I mean, a lot. I was gonna say first thing that came to my head was like 100.
Probably.
It doesn't. It can't quite be that much, but 50 plus.
Easily 50 plus stories, guys. Yeah. Like, how much does that move the market? Zero. The only Visa story that has moved anything in the last 2 years is, do you know what it is?
What?
Do you know what story I'm alluding to?
Was it Apple? Was they partner with Apple Pay or something?
No. It was when they bought a CryptoPunk. They bought a CryptoPunk, and the CryptoPunk floor started going up tremendously. That was it. That's the one Visa story over the last year where things moved. Maybe it was MasterCard, but I think it was Visa. Visa and MasterCard, they're not the same company, but obviously, they're all accepted together. It's hard to really untie the two. But the fact is, guys, these stories just don't move the needle. Nobody cares if you have an NFT debit card. I'm sorry. We know a company that's working on one of these. It's cool for us internally. It's not moving the market. So Uniswap to allow users to buy crypto using debit and credit cards. That's a much bigger story. Crazy thought to put 1 trillion into perspective. One person in their lifetime can't even count to 1 billion. It would take over 100 years just to get to 1 billion. Wow. Well, I can count pretty fast. 100. You think I can do it? I'm pretty fast. Just saying. I got the haircut today. Can you tell? I got the beard trimmed. It was way too long. The beard makes me look about 10 pounds heavier when it's a little thicker. That's a true story.
Yeah.
True story. Which our friend Rebecca, who helped us over the weekend in the Bahamas with a criminal report on FTX, I said, well, Rebecca, what's it like me? Am I the same in real life that I am on the show? I know that I am. I always like to fish and like people say, yeah, you're the exact same person, blah, blah. She said, you're much thinner. She's British. She's like, you're much thinner in real life. I was like, thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that. The camera does add 10 pounds. There's no question about that. Crypto law firm sues SEC for regulatory clarity on Ethereum. By the way, throw the X up if you're in the XRP chat. We're going to be bringing on Fred Rispoli here in just a moment. So we're just going to cover these briefly and then bring him on. Let's see here. Oh, this is the Fred Rispoli story here. So we're going to let him talk about this. This is from Huddle Law. So we'll let him cover that in just a second. Ripple partners with MoneyGram. Ripple partner and MoneyGram, excuse me.
Kick off. How many times can Ripple partner with MoneyGram?
Well, they bought MoneyGram, didn't they?
They partnered with them. They bought them. They acquired them. I don't know.
What does that say? Your Alaska top? What does that go up a little bit? Your Alaska top makes you look much bigger? What does that mean? Do go hang out with your family. We hung out last night. We watched The Grinch last night. So there you go. MoneyGram and Ripple, this has been the big story since January 2018. Is recently reported in a published press release, former Ripple partner MoneyGram and one of Ripple's current partners, Frente Cortiera, have joined forces for a new remittance solution in Brazil. Continue to watch Brazil. It's a big crypto hotspot. Big date for another public reveal nears as Ripple scores minor win. According to this ruling, Ripple scored a minor win as the court granted its request to redact the document submitted in connection with the Daubert motions. This aims to protect Ripple's confidential business interests and legitimate privacy interests of third parties. SEC had a minor loss as its motion was granted, denied in part. Court denied the SEC's request to redact the names of consulting firms that assisted its expert witness. That's big. And otherwise granted its motions to redact the document exhibits submitted in connection with the Daubert motions. Let's go and bring Fred on. Let me see if I can get this thing in my ear here. Where I can clip. I should clip on the front. Fred, what's going on?
Not too much. It's good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time you were on the show, I unfortunately couldn't be on. So glad to have you on here face to face today. We were just covering this story. I guess first and foremost, let everybody know who you are and what you do, and then we'll get into the story.
Sure. I'm a lawyer. Before I really got into crypto, I was doing med mal and nursing home abuse cases, helping people that get really injured or family members whose loved ones have died. I got really into crypto in about 2018 and wanted to kind of move into that. So I still do some of that kind of work on the side, but I opened up a new firm, Huddle Law, really trying to help people, businesses, anybody that needs help with crypto, where I can. We filed, or Huddle Law filed, an amicus brief in the Ripple case on behalf of Reaper Financial, which is a really cool XRPL blockchain company. Now I'm just trying to, help advocate for the space, just like you and a lot of other people are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I had a super chat over here. I saw a question about the Minnesota Vikings. What do I think about them? I think they're pretty good. I think one thing I want to comment on, Matt Ryan, now the greatest comeback in history. He was on the other side of in the Super Bowl, and now the greatest comeback in regular season history. He was also there for on Saturday night, up 33-0, and they lost. That's a meme. I'm sorry, Matt Ryan, but you do not play for the Falcons anymore, so I can make fun of you now. Fred, let's get into what's going on with this. You're suing the SEC for regulatory clarity on Ethereum. You want to talk a little bit about that? What's going on there? Where does that stand?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we filed a declaratory action. That's a procedural maneuver where you force a court to rule on an issue of law. It happens a lot in insurance contexts where someone might get injured in a car accident and they don't have any money to pay for someone's injuries, and they got an insurance policy, but the insurance company says, no, this policy is not in effect. And there's really no point in going through the whole lawsuit if there's no funds to recover. So you ask the court, hey, does this insurance policy, cover or not? That's a declaratory action. So securities law is a federal issue, and HODL law, we're suing the SEC in federal court in the Southern District of California. It's basically San Diego, saying, hey, we want declaratory relief saying that Ethereum, the Ethereum network, and the Ether digital currency unit are not securities. And HODL law, in addition to what I said earlier, we transact in Ethereum, a lot of other cryptos, but in Ethereum, we transact in ERC20 tokens. We advise clients on Ethereum issues. We have some land in the sandbox. I try to get as close to you, Ben, as we possibly could afford. So if anybody gets, I don't know, if you're partying there and you're virtually drunk and you need to crawl over to HODL law, we're going to be open there to serve as a respite. But we're a crypto firm. We use Ethereum, and we don't want the SEC coming after us. And why is this lawsuit important then? Well, we all know that Bill Hinman gave a multi-billion-dollar market-moving speech where he says Ethereum is not a security. So case closed, right? Well, the answer is no, absolutely not, because one, anytime you ask Gary Gensler, is Ethereum a security, he doesn't answer. He, deliberately is evasive. And two, what I want people to understand is we filed this complaint right before Thanksgiving. So, actually about a month ago on the 21st. And I know for a fact that the district attorney's office in San Diego got a copy. We served them. The SEC may be trying to evade service on this complaint. I don't know the answer on that one for sure, but they monitor my Twitter feed. I know that. They know this lawsuit exists. They can reach out. They can answer the complaint and say, hey, Rispoli and HODL Law are crazy. They're wasting everyone's time. Ethereum is not a security. I would love for that to happen, but I think it's highly unlikely because the SEC under Gary Gensler and all the commissioners, by the way, want total dominion over crypto. They're coming after Ethereum, and we're just trying to go on the offense and take it against them.
Yeah, well, our bill is to be public here very soon. Irvine, that's exactly what we're trying to do as well. We are trying to take the power away from the SEC. They have no power here. They do not need power here. They're trying to constantly exert more and more power over the crypto space, and they don't know what they're talking about. And Gary Gensler obviously has ulterior motives. I had this tweet yesterday. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see. It was about where I retweeted Brad Garlinghouse. Here it is. Here's the tweet. Brad Garlinghouse tweeted yesterday, this 100% is ridiculous and frankly shameful that Chair Gensler was touting the SEC's enforcement actions as the cop on the beat. Yet, per public reports, he met with SBF multiple times, but was caught completely flat-footed when the alleged fraud finally came to light. And of course, I retweeted and I said, once again, at best, Gary Gensler is completely incompetent and unfit for his position. At worst, well, we all know what that means. And unfortunately, it's the most likely scenario. How does he survive this? How does he survive these meetings with SBF?
Well, we're going to find out exactly what happened because once the Republicans take control of the House, we'll see how hard they go. I'm not the greatest person that has a lot of confidence in either political party. I'd like to see if they do more than just kind of write mean letters and, kind of throw up their hands and sigh a lot. I hope they go hard after him. I think Gary Gensler can hang on. Here's the thing. If the Republican House doesn't do anything, if they don't hold Gary in contempt, if they don't use which is very little known, but Congress has the ability to hold someone in contempt and actually put them in jail. It's happened before. They hardly ever use it, but they can, where the circumstances are warranted. If they don't do anything, Gary will survive and he'll live on to fight another day, and he'll try and get high up, maybe go into Treasury if the Democrats take back the House in 24, they keep the presidency. So if the Republicans or even the Democrats that really want to hold somebody accountable, hold him accountable, he's out. But, that's what kind of faith you put in politicians. And I'll just say, that's where you come in. That's where everybody watching comes in, because the people have to fight back. I mean, you have a big show and that's great, but you went beyond that and you're like, we're going to do something on the legislative side because, these court cases, the one I'm doing, Ripple, they'll take time and they can be delayed. The only true solution is legislation, and everybody's got to push it. We didn't get enough people. I got in a little bit too late, and a lot of people, didn't do enough in this past cycle to get pro crypto people in. We have to do it in 2024, and we just got to see what's going to happen. I do have one thing about a little XRP Christmas present. I want to get that in before you kick me off. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go. Let's hear it.
All right. Last time I was on here in August, I said, hey, we're going to go after the SEC. check. We did that. We're going to see what the SEC does with this ETH case. But then I also told everybody, we're getting you a damn songbird back. So I'm hoping that we are, we had a little bumps in the road and we were looking for people to really stand up and help lead that charge. And we finally got some people. That is going to be happening in the next day or so, where we are going to be legally starting the charge to get your songbird back to all those exchanges that haven't given it out. If you want to get involved in that, you just go to our website, hodllaw.org, hodllaw.org, go to the contact page.
We'll put that in the chat.
Info. Give me your contact info and subject, I want my songbird, and you're in.
Nice. Well, there you go. We will have that for you soon. We've got the hodllaw.org in the live stream chat. People want to go click on that. Check that out if you're interested in that songbird airdrop that you may not have gotten. And Fred, thank you so much for coming on the show. Look forward to having you back in the future. And hey, we will continue to fight, Gary. This thing is not over yet.
Gary, we're all got you in our sights.
We got you, Gary. All right, Fred, thank you so much for coming on. Okay. All right. And guys, you know what I just remembered, TJ?
What's up?
Do we have, is there a, what do they call that thing? A Post-it note? We need to put a Post-it note. We need to pick the winners for our $5,000 FTX giveaway. Remember, we did $15,000 from NFT Alpha, $10,000 went to Zach, $5,000 were going to individuals on a tweet. We had a Gleam contest. The Gleam contest ended last week, and we didn't pick the winners. We need to remember to do that. I'm going to go pick them right now after the show, and then we'll announce those tomorrow.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, guys, that is all we got for today. Thank you so much for watching. We are coming at Gary. Our build's coming fast and furiously here. Can't wait to share that with you guys. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.